Patrick, guess what came in the mail today?
Oh, what?
This.
Stick it in!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the MNK Productions podcast on our little episode we got here. This is episode 123. This is a special two-parter episode. In the same episode, we're going to be talking about Lionsgate's newest film that's coming out on March 8th. It's called 5 Pounds of Pressure, and it stars Luke Evans, directed by Phil Allocco. Okay, yep, and it is about a guy named Adam, played by Luke Evans, searches for redemption as he returns to his old neighborhood to put to rest his demons, while the brother of the man he killed seeks revenge. And while also starring Luke Evans, it has Rory Culkin and Alex Pettyfer,
yes.
Pettyfer, yes, as the main standouts. The nice folks at Lionsgate gave us an early copy, and we got to watch it. And Kristen actually got to sit down with the director, Phil, and to talk more about the movie. But before we cut to that portion, Kristen, what did you think about this movie?
I actually really like Luke Evans in independent films. I like checking out his films because I like him a lot as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
So he's done a lot of independent films back in like 2023. So that included like Our Son, and then he did a couple other things. He was in a movie called Crisis. And then if you don't know, he's been in so many other films. Like if you haven't watched him in Beauty and the Beast, then the remake, I don't know where people have been. Even though it's not great, he's the best part of the Beauty and the Beast remake.
I mean, that's a low bar to clear, but I do like Luke Evans a lot. He's one of those actors where you know his face and voice, and you just see him everywhere. And I do notice I like him more in the independent stuff that he decides to do.
Yeah. Then we got Rory Culkin starring in it, and I was really excited to see him because it's like the Culkin clan. Like seeing him pop up,
clan.
I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
He pops
Rory,
up more than he pops up more
where
than
have you been since Scream 4? I know
I was
he's
gonna say
stuff.
Scream 4. Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
I'm like, dude, I like you. I know, look, I know he's been in stuff, but I don't remember the stuff that he is in. I think he was in an episode of Swarm.
Yes, he was.
Halston, I watched that series that's on Netflix. But okay, now getting into the specifics of this movie, it's pretty good, I must say. After rolling out this big long cast, one thing I was really excited to see, one of my favorite shows I love to watch my sister is Outer Banks on Netflix, and it had Rudy Pankow in it, and I was so excited. I was like, I don't know, I was like, oh, I love Rudy, seeing him in more stuff, because Rudy, is in the post-credit scene for Uncharted.
Yep. We don't talk about that.
Sorry, I wanted to bring that up for you, because I remember sitting in there, so I was like, oh, that's
but actually, can I give a shout out to my boy Alex Pettyfer? Pettyfer, yes. He's one of the leading people in the movie too. And I'm watching the movie and I go, man, this guy looks familiar. Like his voice sounds familiar. So I went to his IMDb, and my God, please tell me you remember this. The 2007 classic film with Vanessa Hudgens. That is the main star of Beastly, the movie. And also, I am number 4.
2007? I think it's 2011.
2011. Oh, see, it's the same time. It's IMDb. He was in both movies that define my 2011. I Am Number 4 and Beastly. And while I actually kind of enjoy I Am Number 4, and I think it overly hated, Beastly is a terrible movie. But I love the kid, and I'm glad that he's still working.
He's in a lot of independent films too.
He is, and he was also in Magic Mike.
Yeah, he was in Magic Mike. He was great in Magic Mike. That whole Magic Mike first film cast is great. Steven Spielberg knows how to really put together a good movie. But,
and he was in Time too, so shout out to that guy. But yeah, for the movie like this or independent, they actually have a lot of good cast. You really don't see that for a lot of independent movies, but 5 Pounds of Pressure, I think out of all the kind of the independent movies we've covered, they probably have the most. I don't want to say I'd say
like an extensive recognizable cast.
Yeah, because when it comes to some independent movies that we've covered, or even just in general, you maybe see 2 or 3 people, and you're like, okay, cool, yeah. But with this one, there's pretty much everyone in the cast, you've at least seen them in something. So
Mhm.
I think that's makes it a little bit more memorable to like define what 5 Pounds of Pressure is about.
And it was interesting to see when I was talking to Phil for this movie, it sounded like everyone was so excited to come together for this project for an intense, like, revenge thriller. I know we
Mhm.
were talking so much about the stars, but it's the it's a good revenge thriller. It's solid enough from what I thought the film was gonna be. Like I thought we were gonna get this like action, revenge, thriller where they're running around and stuff. Like that's what I thought it was gonna be, but it's more of like a drama. There's still some thrill to it, intense moments. There's some
I'd say
uh
it's more dialogue driven than like
it's a
like,
dialogue driven film.
and that's no problem. Like, if you have good dialogue in your movie, you can be able to tell a story that doesn't have to revolve around like just the thriller element. You can just tell a story with dialogue and using the action for that.
hmm So one other thing I want to go into for the film is that like it's a story kind of like also redemption for Luke's character because he's released from prison
Hmm.
because of some drug stuff going on with his character. You see it as it happens in the film, and he tries to reconnect with his son. He's starting from scratch, and then like it's told over the course of like 4 days, from what I remember.
Yeah.
So, but there's drama, of course, and I like seeing how it all unfolded and all the stories that happen with the character you see from Luke and Rory and uh, Alex. Like Alex and Rory are really together a lot for the film, but seeing with Luke and then even Rudy, like's character, they all like intertwined and connected. And I
Hmm.
thought that was really like kind of interesting to see how it all played out in the end. And I was like, okay, wait, there's this story happening. How is it going to mesh together? And then it all starts to come together a lot in the second and then the third act. Just like, what's going on here? Some drama is about to happen, and a lot of drama happens at the very end of the film. So it's spicy drama, especially with one particular character and Rory's character and the one character's girlfriend. If you know what I'm talking about, Meg.
Yes, I do.
We won't spoil it, but I really liked it. It's a solid enough release that hits theaters this weekend, actually. So if you want to go see it for yourself, go check it out, and then it'll be out on video on demand from there.
Yeah.
So as we wrap it up, should we cut to our interview with the wonderful Phil Allocco?
Yes, we should. Let's do it. And the links in the description for the film will be provided as well. Make sure you go check it out.
So nice to meet you, Kristen.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak with me and my co-host who could not be here today, but would love to be here today.
I'm very excited to talk to you. So nice to meet you.
It's so nice to meet you. So congratulations on all the hard work and a pretty intense thriller, I must say.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's
Yeah, well, you delivered. I enjoyed all the way through. I sat through it last night and I was like, oh wow, I enjoyed this more than I thought. So
great.
I gotta discuss. How did this project came to be? Like what made you want to tell this story?
I don't know. I look back. I started writing this over 15 years ago. So
Oh
it's
dang.
a long time I've been living with this. But this is a world I grew up in, and I think it was maybe cathartic. But I think I was also always challenging for me to have empathy and understanding for people in these, very extreme circumstances. I'm excited by people, ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances. I like films that take me to those places, and I think I think that's what kind of drew me to this. Talk about this story.
I love that. And one of the big things that drew me to this film is the cast. Like I've been really enjoying Luke Evans' work lately. So what made you want to bring this huge cast together that includes Alex Pettyfer, who I know who's been working on a lot of independent films lately, and Rory Culkin, who has of course, one of the biggest families in the world. So can you
Yeah.
discuss about bringing this cast together?
Yeah, well, we started trying to find our Adam, and to get Luke was was thrilling. And Luke was actually involved or attached before COVID. And then
Oh, okay.
we ran into COVID and things got put on hold. You know, having Luke, that kind of established, I think, a certain a level of credibility to the character, and then it allows me to kind of cast around that. Rory was the next one that we cast, and I remember seeing him in Lords of Chaos, and I thought, you know, that's a very unlikable character, that he brought so much empathy to such an extreme character. I just thought he was brilliant. I was so blown away by him as an actor. And when he agreed to do it, I was thrilled, because Mike has similar challenges. Where on paper, that's an unlikable character. And I think he brought so much humanity and empathy to that character. So, and then getting Alex, who is just an amazing actor, and Rudy Pankow, who for Jimmy, and Stephanie, who I love her. You know, she originally auditioned for a different character. For Lori, and then, you know, I loved her so much and wanted to see her for Stephanie, and thought she just killed it. And Savannah's great, and Zach. I mean, it was just, I feel very fortunate to have been able to work with such a brilliant cast.
I love the fact you brought up Rudy, because I am a huge Outer Banks fan. My sister and I watch it together. So like seeing him come on the screen, I was like, I got really excited.
Great.
So, you know, I love the cast. So was it difficult though to intertwine their stories to see like how they would come together in the end as a writer for the film?
Yeah. In the writing, you know, I never knew where this was. The way I wrote it, I didn't know where it was going to end. And I don't always write like that, but this one I didn't know where it was going. So it was kind of fun to see where this would go. And it was fun, challenging, working with the actors to really bring these characters to life. And you know, I know you said you're a Rudy fan, and Rudy, tell you, Rudy, when we were talking, he wouldn't agree to do the part till he knew everything about that character and did so much work, and he needed to understand everything he was doing before he could say, okay, I'm going to do this. And I thought that says so much of what kind of actor he is, right?
Yeah.
Like the commitment he puts to it. And he's just so great. And they all were. I mean, it was a really special and exciting for me every day, because I knew, you know, we were getting something that was exceeding the script and what my hopes were for the script. I knew every day when we'd work that we're bringing it to a whole new level.
Now, my question for you is, where did you film the actual project?
But the actual filming we did in Manchester in the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and that was, you know, a very wild ride on, you know, how you're putting your film together and how the producers are bringing in the resources, and how it all fits together, and where you can kind of get the most out of your budget. And so we found Manchester seemed to be really give us that kind of industrial look that I was wanting to create for this film. So it really worked really well to kind of create the look that we wanted. And so it's New York, but hopefully it's in New York that you haven't seen. Because it's in Manchester.
Yeah, definitely. And I know, given the guitars in the background, you're also a musician, you're an artist. So what did you learn as a filmmaker while working on this project?
Well, you know, every project you learn that it's its own thing. You know, every time, you know, you've never done. It's not like some things where you feel like, okay, I've done that before, I'm going to just reproduce what I've done. It's every time you do a film, it's its own adventure. But I have learned also that certain things that, like creating the best environment you can for people to do their best work is something I always try to do, and I kind of reinforce that. I think that shows up on the screen. I really believe that. And and I also learned that, you know, how for me one of the big things was creating a world that I wrote for New York, but creating in another country to be able to do that. That was amazing and liberating to feel like, oh, I can, you know, we can do that.
And one thing I also saw when I was looking at the end credits is that you wrote music for the film.
Oh yeah, some songs I had from back in the day. You know, when we were putting some songs in the bar, I put one of them in.
Did you write
Just-
anything new for the film or no? This was just
No,
like
nothing
your
new. Some I wish I had time.
And then another question I have for you is the artwork that Luke does in the film, because I love the connection that he brings with his son in that scene in the park where they're drawing like the skull. Did Luke learn how to draw, or is he talented like that, like on
Yes,
set?
he is. He did, well, you know, some of the scenes where they're drawing, they're actually drawing. And
Mhm.
then, you know, for the close-ups, then we had, you know, because it had to be very specific because
Yeah.
it has to, you know, then mirror and look close enough. But when they were drawing, they were really drawing, and Luke does draw. And that was a fun scene and a challenging one to, okay, you're gonna sit and we're gonna do this scene, and the and it has to be simple enough where we're not there all day drawing this thing.
Yeah.
But also has to feel like they're connecting and they're spending time doing it. So it had its own unique challenges to doing that scene.
I love the drawings that he showed that they present at the end when the notebook is given to
Mhm.
Rudy's character. And I just thought these are just so talented. Like Luke needs to like have his own little museum for all of his
Well, actually,
honestly.
who drew all of those portraits was one of the producers, Steve.
Oh wow,
He's
okay.
also a director himself, and
Oh,
was an artist and had used to do a lot of used to run a company called The Drawing Board, which did a lot of album covers for Def Jam, you know, and so he is an artist and did amazing work on those illustrations. And I threw that at him like last minute, like, Steve, you got to do these drawings.
oh. I
So,
love that
all right.
though. I love how he can contribute to that at least aspect of it. But
Yeah.
for you as a artist, what is next for you? Do you hope to direct another film or write
Yeah,
another project?
yeah, I have another film that I've written that I'm trying to make, and another film that I'm developing that I'm trying to, you know, I mean, you're always trying to hustle and make another project as a filmmaker, but at the same time, you never know if you ever will.
Yeah.
Strange kind of position to be in, or job, you know, because you know, you need so many things to come together. It really feels like it's a miracle anytime you get to make something.
I appreciate you saying it's a hustle because it is. It's
Yeah.
a hustle. As someone who has also worked in film, it's so tough.
Yeah, not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. But hopefully your next film won't be like take 15 years to put together or write or anything. Hopefully we just get to see your next work of art. But I will wrap up and say thank
I
you
hope
for your
so.
time.